What's good, y'all? It's your boy Third Degree. We're back with more Ratchet news. Well, some of it's ratchet, some of it's not, but we still got to speak on it. So let's go. Well, kicking off the ratchetness is a toxic couple that will not disappoint. Erica Mena clowns Safaree for Chris Brown fangirling instead of paying child support. And I mean, she might actually be on to something because check this out. I mean, what was this cat doing? You know what I mean? Like, man. You know what I mean? It's one thing to be a fan, but then to start crying and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man, if my girl don't get this emotional over me like how he is for Chris Brown, then I don't even want her. Moving on. Gary Owen claims it's more socially accepted for a white man to date a black woman than for a white woman to date a black man. I don't know about that. We will talk about that next week for sure. Be a topic. Moving on. Texas father who moved his family to Russia to escape wokeness in the United States was sent to the front lines in Ukraine. Talk about karma. Moving on. President Gump orders firing of labor statistics chief after data shows unemployment rates are higher. Shouldn't you fire yourself, bro? Moving on. Can't catch a break, Drake. Quoted, "This is a very special place in my heart because this is where my son was conceived. There would be no Adonis if it wasn't for Amsterdam. So shout out to y'all." Unquote. But weren't you the same one that was trying to hide him though? You know what I'm saying? Like as if you were ashamed. That's the one that Pusha T called you on? I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? Moving on. Back to toxicness. Cardi B and Raw Ali reignite Nicki Minaj beef in Cairns Airport. What are they fighting over exactly? I don't know. This is getting kind of nasty at this point. You know what I mean? Moving on. Joey Badass goes off on Columbia Records for delaying his album. I would too. I mean, he had a buzz, pretty much creating like a little fake beef with the West Coast. That would have been the perfect time to capitalize. But hey, that's what you get for messing with that. Moving on. I mean, look at this kid, man. He's goofy, corny. I can't believe this. The Nicki Minaj actually let him hit. Moving on. Speaking of, Rick Ross claims he took 50 Cent's youngest son, Sire, fishing while his mom, Daphne Joy, was at Diddy Star Island Mansion. Yeah, but then he calls a little boy Bruce Leroy. I'm starting to think that, Rick Ross might be a little racist. Hey, moving on. Speaking of children, Ricky Smiley learns that he is the father of five-year-old twin girls. Crazy, right? He out here slinging that thing. Moving on. Court grants Tory Lanez permission to file a supplemental habeas petition with new evidence. Interesting. We shall keep you posted. Moving on. It's being reported that Diddy is not taking that L. Bad boy mogul fights back, tells feds running back after man at convictions. Basically, he wants this case thrown out. Well, good luck, buddy. Moving on. Angel Reese is quoted as saying, "Y'all make $1,400 a week. I make $1,400 in 7 days." As she flexing on reporters. Me too, Angel. Actually, me too. So we flexing together. Yeah, who's gonna tell her? Me or you? No, moving on. Justin Timberlake said he's been diagnosed with Lyme disease. Not sure what that is, but praying for him. Moving on. Bubba Wallace is quoted as saying it's not the sport that isn't ready for change, it's that some fans aren't. Facts. Moving on. And the clapback award goes to a man who I would hate to give it to. I can't stand Stephen A. Smith, but he says to Daryl Morey, "You were with the Rockets for 13 years, didn't win a title, and didn't get to the finals. It is something critics would argue you've been allergic to," unquote. This is basically a response to Daryl Morey saying that the 2020 bubble championship didn't matter, or it was a fluke. So this is his response, and I actually hate to agree with Stephen A., but I agree. Moving on. ESPN has parted ways with Shannon Sharp after settlement of SA lawsuit. Yeah, brother, you should have fought this one, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of makes you look a certain type of way, and especially from what we heard, I kind of get it. All right, moving on. Wait, I gotta circle back to Drake. He said the Cold War is over, and it made us even colder. Drake's message to his OVO crew on their new iced out chains, bruh, it's been over. Not like us. After 5 Grammys, it's been a wrap since. Moving on. Radioactive wasp nest found at former nuclear weapons site. Crazy. Probably got some mutant wasps over there, right? Moving on. UCLA reaches a $6 million settlement with Jewish students. Can we get ours too? Moving on. DJ Academics alleges Clips have manipulated their first week album sales from 57K to 113K through bots and bundles. Nah, man, it's just a solid project. Why is this dude still fluffing for Drake? Can't he go get Drake's ding ding out of his mouth or something? All right, moving on. Clarissa Shields is quoted as saying trans athletes need to build their own little league and fight each other, effective immediately. I hate to agree with her on this one, but I kind of do. It would be cool to see trans get their own little league. Not little league, but their own league and represent each other in that way. As opposed to having women stepping into the ring with men. You know what I mean? It's just kind of crazy. Moving on. Kevin White's Draco files for divorce after 9 years, wants custody, spouse support, and no coins for Kevin. Wow. Moving on. Glorilla secures her own $4 deal at Checkers, from drive-through day job to menu main stage. Hey, salute to her. Moving on. Wait, but speaking of Glo, it seems like she done hooked up with former Laker Brandon Ingram during a Cabo birthday trip. So, hey, salute to both of them. Moving on. Well, he about to experience what that moose knuckle be like. Moving on. Recent studies suggest that in most arguments, the girlfriend tends to be right, attributed to a woman's stronger emotional intelligence and heightened self-awareness. Bullshit. Moving on. Jane Fonda's quoted saying, F him. You don't get to tell black people how to act when they're called the N-word. Jane Fonda in response to Michael Rappaport. Salute to her. Moving on. Judge Mathis and his wife Linda shared cares nearly a year after he vowed to win her back after when she filed for divorce after 39 years of marriage. Salute. That's what I love to see. Salute, salute. Moving on. Erykah Badu's One on Mama's Gun 25th anniversary tour this fall. I want to go. Moving on. Shout out to Beyonce, becomes the first black artist in history to reach over $2 billion in total for tour revenue. Salute, Queen. Moving on. Shout out to Luka Doncic. He got in shape for the Lakers. We might do some damage. Moving on. Ray J breaks the silence about rumors he played a role in Whitney Houston's Unaliving, and he did some other weird interviews, and he's just weird. So we're just gonna move on. Shout out to CeCe as she officially becomes a citizen of Benin after discovering her West African heritage through DNA testing. I keep trying to tell y'all. Moving on. Ghislaine Maxwell granted limited immunity while giving DOJ 100 different people linked to Jeffrey Epstein. I wonder if one of those people is Trump. Moving on. Charlamagne says that if you've been engaged for 4 years or more, your engagement is null and void. I agree. And just moving on. Last but not least, Ari Lennox says that Martin's jokes about Pam still hit a nerve. Talking about colorism within the Martin show. It's actually one of the topics. So let's go ahead and let's just get right into the show. Anyway, I'm your boy Third Degree, and that's been your Ratchet News. Enjoy the show.